Because I don't want to go down to that place. I don't want to be with those evil men that have sold their soul for a temporary thing, this money and all the accoutrements that come with it. No, God, I don't want to go with those people. So let me get serious with you. Okay, we've got to trust somebody. Okay, we've got to get real with somebody. And I'm telling you, my friends, that somebody is your owner. Okay, and he's not distant. I mean, this is the Holy Spirit of truth that will tell you when your flesh wants to retort in anger towards somebody that said something that you construed as being mean and provocative, okay, and offensive, insulting. Okay, you want to lash out, right? Your carnal man wants to do that and get self-righteous and condemn them and divorce yourself from them. I don't need you. Screw you. No, but the Spirit of truth, okay, love is the strongest force in the universe, comes in and it can tame your tongue, okay? As impossible as it seems, it can do it. Look, if it can turn the most devout believer in capital punishment around, and it does that every day, the Spirit of truth does that. It comes in and says, yes, somebody told you that it's first degree premeditated murder, malice aforethought. When society decides in all their wisdom that, oh yes, after careful deliberation, and we put it to the vote of the people, whatever it is, we decided that we believe in capital punishment. Oh, and it's not that God doesn't get it. It's not that I don't get it. Okay? I mean, Moses, you understand, the Jews get it. That fury, it possesses a man and he smites another man down in his anger, in his righteous fury. So it's a beautiful thing, right? I get it. Vengeance, right? But what does the Bible actually say? Let vengeance be mine, saith the Lord. I will repay. Jesus said, you've heard it said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, no. You hate your brother, you're a murderer in the sight of God. And how can you execute somebody and not hate them? Okay, that is, talk about an oxymoron. Okay, I mean, if you do it spontaneously, there's not any hatred involved. You might hate the deed, and you're in your fury, you try to stop them, and you killed somebody like Moses did. But there was no malice aforethought, premeditation. So, no, it wasn't like that. It was just one of those things, Life and death, we all know what that's about. But first, that's what the other is. Capital punishment is that. It's not that I don't get it. And it's not that God doesn't get it. It's just that, hey, you can't really kill somebody anyhow. This is what we got to understand. So if murderers can be forgiven, and they can, because King David was a murderer, okay, and he was forgiven from what I understand, okay, and he was very premeditated, okay, in the way he killed Uriah the Hittite, okay. That was, he stole Bathsheba from him. It was his wife, Bathsheba, and he was trying to cover it up. So what a tangled web we weave when at first we attempt to deceive, and that's what he did. So, death in itself, I mean, God has the last say on this thing. It in and of itself is a lie from the pit of hell. Jesus proved this over and over and over. Okay, we've got to get that. We've got to trust God. We need a relationship with God. I mean, I cannot stress that more emphatically enough. I just can't. I can't, my friends. If there was one thing I had to gift the whole world with, that would be it. Other than that, if I had a superpower, it would be to take all the stressors out of your life. Okay? All the burden away from you. That's what I would like to do. If I had one superpower, I would. But I don't. This is about free will choice. This is the cause of our problems, but it's the cause of our solutions. In the Garden of Eden, I'm making reference to. We chose knowledge of good and evil. Our ancestors did, and we're stuck with that choice. So now we've got this power of choice. We've got to choose good and evil. And it creates an intense, profound schism within our essence, within our culture, within our civilization. I mean, what could be worse for God to witness than innocent men, women, and children being maimed and killed in dubious wars? Can you imagine what God's had to witness? We're witnessing that too. And we're picking it up osmotically, my friends. We're in trouble. We need God. I mean, how many times do I have to say that? I need to hear more people saying that. I need to hear Dr. Phil saying that. Help me out here. We can't save one another's lives at the end of the day. This madness we're going through with this coronavirus pandemic, I mean, it's bizarro world overnight. I have no idea what's going on, but look how the economic tie-in, I think they're trying to divert attention because they're trying to do a market correction, but they don't want you to know it because they want to always have the upper hand. They always want to have the inside track, okay, on these things. And I'm talking about the same gaggle of people, okay, these ruthless murderers really is what they are at the very top echelons of this perverted power pyramid, pyramid of power. In the money printing class, the Bilderberger types, the top political class. Okay, these are the people involved. And I believe the Labor Department's had to be in their pocket too, just quietly in the background. Don't look at us. Yeah, we've been remiss. We know what a consumer price index is, but we don't look at that. We don't count your housing costs when we adjust the cost of living. No. Why should we do that? That doesn't make sense, even though it's an essential human need commodity. We won't include food and housing. Leave those things out. Or let's not even include energy. Okay, we don't have potable water. What do we care? Water's everywhere. So, if they had done that, if they had given realistic commensurate cost of living adjustments over the years, any honest economist would say, well, the math indicates that wages would have to be X amount federally. Because remember, it's very divisive, balkanizing, when they don't adhere to that federal minimum wage standard. Because then states are forced to say, well, our cost of living is a lot higher than their cost of living in that state. So, the governor steps in and influences things, and somebody else, and then they got to break down into counties or cities, regions, whatever. Oh, the cost of living is super, well, we got to give more here. But, then you look at, well, where's the lowest cost of living, or where's the lowest minimum wage in America? Then you look at the cost of living and say, well, wait a minute, it'd actually be cheaper to live where the wages are the lowest. How's that? It might be, right? I haven't actually done the research to say that definitively, but I'm just kind of saying that's how screwed up things are. So you think, wow, the wages are highest in San Francisco, $15 an hour. Well, what are you gonna pay? $2,000 for a studio? Inappropriate to have a girlfriend, much less a kid. Coffin apartments. That's what you're stuck with. I mean, they're bringing us into a third, fourth world status here in America, right under our noses. It didn't happen overnight. The American people wouldn't have put up with this, but over a long, gradual period of time, this is what they've done to us. Okay, and you don't think the Labor Department is culpable in this? I got news for you. They're in the pockets of these people. These people have good jobs. They have Harvard degrees, PhDs, all the acronyms behind their names at these jobs at the top echelons of the Labor Department, right? So these are the educated ones that are running the show and have done this to America and said, against the will of 90% of the American people, no, we must bail out these criminal banksters. They didn't call them criminals. They're just poor, incompetent banksters that overloan. It was the fault of those people out there and their liar loans. They weren't making that kind of income. That's why we're stealing their houses from them. We're foreclosing on them. We're taking back what's ours, right? What the banks lent too much money. People lied to get the money because they were desperate. They knew, hey, if I don't jump on the bandwagon now, get my foot in the door of home ownership, I'm never gonna. They could see the writing on the wall. Okay, but let's scapegoat them. I get it. You need to get it too. You need to be empowered with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth on these matters. Be very clear about the difference between true capitalism and perverted pseudo-capitalism that all we've had for over half a century in America. Okay? But God is going to get tired. That's the good news. He's going to put a foot down because we need God. We're incapable. All through history, there's been bloody revolutions, civil wars, okay, rebellions. When the elitists, when these hypocrites, when that perpetual aristocrat class, when they pushed too hard, time after time, this people rose up. And they said, no, we must be free. Okay? So, but that's good. It's going to be different this time. Chapter 12, the book of Daniel, book reserved for the last days. Prophecy, reserved to be understood, about the knowledge increasing. It's it's the empowerment that comes through knowledge. It's the wisdom of the ages, ancient wisdom. Far more important. So this answers your question why I don't get into to recent current events and stuff. Okay, immediately when I get into this series of videos, it's because there's stuff that's vastly, infinitely more important than that stuff that's going on in our day. Okay, because we've been steered down a demonic